Did you know that you can travel from London to Africa without flying? In this video, I start my overland journey to Algeria by taking a night bus from London to Paris. Whether you're interested in overland travel or just want to find out a cheaper way to get to Paris, watch on to see what I thought about it. Good evening from London, Victoria. So I am about to get on a night bus which will take me to Paris. From Paris, I'm taking a train down to Marseille, and then from Marseille, I'm taking a ferry across to North Africa, specifically Algiers. So Algeria is my destination. I am then going to be in Algeria for about 10 days, seeing the capital Algiers and seeing a few of the sites around Algiers. But I decided to not fly there and instead do this convoluted overland route, just because I enjoy overland travel. So I'm at Victoria Coach Station. This is a place I know well. I used to get coaches quite a lot when I was at university in Bristol, and my family lived in London, so I went to and from Bristol to London quite a bit. So I do know this coach station quite well, and I have actually got an international bus from here before to Amsterdam, but this is the first time I'm taking the night bus to Paris. So I think it will be fairly similar to the Amsterdam bus that I did before, although this is a Flixbus that I'm taking this time, and before I took a megabus, so there might be some subtle differences, but I will take you along with me for the ride. Yeah, the bus should be fine. I must say I was quite tempted to book the Eurostar again, but I only just went on the Eurostar last month and I made a video about that. So I thought I'd better do the night bus, compare them and see if it's worth the extra savings. So yeah, it should be all right. I did manage to change my seat earlier, and I'm hoping I will have 2 seats to myself, because that will really boost my comfort levels on this overnight bus. So gonna go to Victoria Coach Station now and see where I need to go to wait for my coach. Okay, I've arrived at the coach station and I am apparently gate 19. So I was told on my ticket to look out for Disneyland Paris. There seems to be a few buses going to Paris, but apparently mine is terminating at Disneyland Paris, although that is not where I'm going. I'm going to Paris-Bercy-Seine, which is the main coach station of Paris, I do believe. So I've got about half an hour until my bus leaves. You only need to get there 15 minutes before, which is quite nice. So I guess I'm going to find the toilet and then, find my gate and get ready to board. Be nice to just board ASAP, but I have got a reserved seat, so I don't need to worry too much about like getting a seat. But yeah, I just really hope that no one has booked the seat next to me, because it will be so much nicer if I have 2 seats to myself on this journey. I went over to gate 19, which is where my coach was leaving from, and it started boarding quite quickly after I got there. Then we drove through the streets of London, and I tried to have a bit of a sleep before we get to the ferry terminal. I am on the ferry from Dover to Calais, so this ferry takes, I think it's about an hour and a half. It's not too long, it's not that far, to be honest. On a clear day you can see from Dover to Calais. But I was kind of hoping we go through the Channel Tunnel. So if you're driving from the UK to France, there are 2 ways that you can get between the countries. You can either get on the ferry or you can go through the Channel Tunnel, which is literally a train that goes underwater that you drive your car onto. And I was kind of hoping we'd do that, because then I could have stayed on the coach and slept, but we are on the ferry, so I will try and get a bit of a footage of the ferry. The last time I was on this ferry was when I came back from my overland trip, so that's quite fitting. I travelled from Bali to London without flying, and there's loads of videos, so I could go far back on my channel so you can have a look at those. But yeah, that was the last time I was on this ferry, so it's quite nice to be on it again when I'm embarking on another overland trip. But I am very tired. It is now 20 past 12, and yeah, so I think it will be 2 AM UK time when we get off, but 3 AM French time, and then I think it's about 4.5 hours to Paris, so hopefully I'll sleep for that section. I've kind of dozed a bit so far, but not really slept. But anyway, I will show you around the ferry. This was a DFDS ferry, and I do think I prefer P&O, the other ferry line that connects England and France, but this was adequate. There was one restaurant and a smaller drinks bar with a duty-free section separating the two. At one end there's big windows where you can look out while you have a drink and enjoy the view, and there's an outdoor area at the other end. There are also a few other smaller areas like a children's play area, a video games area, etc. The only real seating is in the bar and restaurant, and there are obviously no cabins as the crossing is only 1 hour 30 minutes maximum.
So we got given by the Flixbus driver a little coupon which apparently gives us a free meal, which I did not know was included in the price of your ticket. So I just went to have a little look and see what the free meal consisted of. It's like fish fingers and sausage and mash and rice. I think there's some sort of tagine, which, I mean, if I was very hungry I probably would eat. And there's also, it does say there's vegetarian options available on request, so maybe they do veggie sausages and things on request. But to be honest, I mean, it is... I don't usually eat at 1:45 in the morning, so I am not going to have my free meal. So yeah, that is like an added perk, I guess, of getting this bus. I don't think I've ever been on a bus before where you've got a free meal with it. The rate you pay for your bus, so I paid about £40, includes this ferry crossing, and I think normally ferry crossings can be, I mean, good, at least £30 as a foot passenger. I can't remember exactly what I paid last time, but I can probably find the old email and receipt. But yeah, I think it was about £30 just as a foot passenger. So actually it does sort of, getting this sort of combo price deal is quite good. Whenever I've watched Race Across the World, or at least when I watched the one where they went from London to Europe, I was really intrigued as to why more people didn't just book on coaches, because it is the cheapest way to get to Europe. And I'm only going to Paris, but you can get to cities in Germany. I think there used to be a coach to Riga in Latvia. I think there's one to Romania sometimes as well, so you can get quite far in Europe just by using exclusively coaches.
The toilets were actually very nice, really, really clean, spacious, good lighting as well, so good marks for TFDS for that.
It's a bit breezy out here. It's actually been raining quite a lot. I can just see the lights of Dover just slipping away over that side, and I actually could also already see Calais the other side, so it's really, really close. It's very slippery actually, so it started raining loads as we were waiting for the ferry, and yeah, stopped now, but very, very wet outside. But yeah, it's quite nice to be outside and just taking a look at things. It's quite like a bit of a dead time to be actually on the boat. There's not much going on. There is a bit of food, you can get food if you want, but everything is very quiet. A lot of things are closed, so it's pretty much just quite chilled, but that's fine. Probably still got about an hour, so I might find somewhere to perch for a little bit and then just wait for us to dock in Calais, and then I can finally go to sleep. I will do a little seat tour once I'm back on the bus, but I did manage to get 2 seats to myself. The seat tour's not going to be that exciting, but it should at least give you an idea of what to expect and how comfy the Flixbus night bus is going to be. But I will say this, I think it will be much comfier than other night buses I've been on in the past.
Top recommendation, do use the toilet on the ferry before you get back onto the bus, because the bus toilets are not very nice. Also, do make sure you remember which zone you're parked in and which floor. So we were the purple zone, floor 5, so that made it easy to find this Flixbus again. And here's a seat tour. It's not going to be very complex, but you can see I had quite a lot of leg room. I had a pocket behind the seat in front of me and a little table, and the seats actually reclined quite far. And it wasn't too bad because the person in front of me also reclined their seat, and I didn't notice it too much. As you can see, there was no one behind me, so I could recline to my heart's content. My essentials for a night bus are a neck pillow, earplugs, an eye mask, and some sort of throw to act as a blanket. So I sorted all of that out, and then I reclined to hopefully catch some Z's before we arrived in Paris.
I am not thriving. It's 7:45 now, to be fair, but our bus got in at 6:30, and I have just spent the last hour and 15 minutes walking to Paris Gare de Lyon, coming to the left luggage storage area, and then realising that they don't accept card, which was one of my Europe travel tips that I always give to people, is to make sure you have cash for these lockers. But to be fair, I have just arrived sort of in the Eurozone, so I let myself off Then I had to walk about 15 minutes to, well, 10 minutes to the nearest cash point, and then it was going to charge me €6 and I wanted to get out the least amount possible. So I didn't do that. I found a HSBC which didn't charge me anything, so that's good. And now I'm back and I've just had to change my €20 so I couldn't get €10. So I've just had to change my €20 all into €1 and €2 coins, and now I have a very heavy purse. I'm gonna sort all of this out now and then freshen up, and then I will get back to you about the bus. Mixed opinions. I don't think I'll be getting it again, but I'll go into why shortly. I am feeling ever so slightly more alive, but only just. I've had a cereal bar and pineapple, and yeah, I'm gonna take a walk to the Louvre, I think, just to see it. I've seen it before, but just to see it again, and I'll probably find somewhere to sit down there and discuss my thoughts on the Flixbus in general. I was in Paris last month and it was a lot cooler now than it was then, so hopefully I'm appropriately attired. I'm wearing like a long dress and this shirt. Hopefully it will warm up ever so slightly. Here's a little montage of me walking along the Seine to reach the Louvre. I really wanted to do a walk just to get my steps in. It was about a 50-minute walk, but it was quite nice along by the river, and once I reached it the sun did come out. Alright, I have made it to the Louvre. You can probably just about see the Louvre pyramid behind me. I think the light's catching on it a little bit and is making it quite difficult to see in the lens, but it is there. So I thought I would just do a little summary of the Flixbus and just whether I think it was worth it. So just to give you the full picture, I paid £40 for this Flixbus from London Victoria to Paris Bercy Seine, and that includes the ferry that like I mentioned before. I got the Eurostar last month and I paid £80 for the Eurostar, and then I did actually pay another £25 for an upgrade, but if I hadn't got the upgrade, it would have just had standard class, it would have been £80, so it's double the price for the Eurostar. It can vary depending on when you book it, and obviously the Flixbus can be cheaper or even more expensive as well, but for this example it was double the price. So was it worth it? In all honesty, for my financial situation these days, I would probably say no. Not because I'm rolling in money these days, but I just have a bit more to spend on things that will bring me comfort, I guess you'd say. A few years ago I was just backpacking around always doing the cheapest things, so a few years ago I would have definitely said yeah, get the night bus over the Eurostar, but these days I think I'd be more inclined to get the Eurostar. It's 8 hours quicker. Yeah, 7.5, 8 hours quicker. The Eurostar takes like 2 hours 20 minutes and the bus takes 10 hours, so there's a real difference there. And I mean, because it is more comfortable, the Eurostar, but also you don't have the getting on and off the ferry, you just sit in your seat and then you're there, and equally it's not going to take you all night. Obviously there is the distinct advantage as well, if you're travelling by night bus you do save on a night's accommodation, but that only really works if you're actually travelling between the places. Like I could have stayed in London for free last night, so that doesn't really count. I don't mind a night bus, and actually that one, like I showed, it reclined well and it had lots of legroom and stuff, so actually as far as night buses go it was quite comfortable, but the issue is that you have to get off the bus to go and be on the ferry, and I thought I'd worked it out alright. I thought I'd worked it out so I'd be getting on the ferry at like 10:30, 11, and then we'd be getting off the ferry, and then I thought it was like 6 hours from there to Paris, but it ended up being getting on the ferry at about 12:30, getting off the ferry at about 3 AM French time, and then we only had 3 and a bit hours until we were in Paris, so it did sort of interrupt the night. So it's not like just taking a night bus where you can just sleep, you know, you're just continuously on the bus. Like you do have to do a bit of moving around, and obviously there's border controls and everything as well. So yeah, like it wasn't bad. I was very glad that I didn't have someone sitting next to me. That definitely made it a lot more comfortable, and I did just want to give a couple of hacks as well actually for that, because so I booked my bus and they put me right at the back, in the middle of like on the back row with like 2 people on either side, And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. So I moved, I paid £1.99 to move seats. So I moved to the front on a window seat. And then last night I thought, well, like yesterday afternoon, I thought I'd go and have a look and just see if anyone had booked the seat next to me. And someone had, but I saw that there were 2 spare seats in front of the toilet, which were probably spare because they were in front of the toilet. So I booked the window seat from that. So I did have to pay another £1.99, but that was worth it to not have anyone sitting next to me. It was a little bit of a smell with being so close to the toilets, but it wasn't too bad. When I booked this coach, there was actually an option to book the seat next to me as well for another £20. So it was like, make sure there's no one sitting next to you for another, yeah, you can pay the other £20, which I didn't do because I was like, if I'm getting a bus and only spending 40 quid, I don't know, it seems a bit silly to then spend another 20 quid to have to guarantee there's no one sitting next to me. So I thought I'll just try and change my seat if needed, and that did work, but obviously that's not a guarantee. Pros of the Flixbus are definitely the cost. It's easy. I mean, you just get on at one place, go on the ferry and then get off, and you get to experience the ferry as well, which, I mean, it's quite a nice, if it's in the day, it would be quite a nice break of the journey. You know, you're on the ferry, you can walk around, you can have some food, etc. So those are some pros of the Flixbus, but honestly I'd probably say the only real pro when you're going to compare it to the Eurostar is it's cheaper. Like, that's the only real reason why you'd get the Flixbus instead of the Eurostar, because the Eurostar is quicker, it's more comfortable, and it's more convenient. So yeah, that's my verdict. I'm glad I've experienced it, but I do feel like that will probably be my last time getting a night bus to Europe. I think my night busing days probably aren't completely over, because I will probably travel some places where night buses are the only option. But I think in places that have good rail connections like Europe, I think my night bus days might be over. So there's that. Right, I am gonna sit and enjoy this view of the Louvre for a bit, and then I'm gonna get ready for my next train journey. So this will be my next video, and I will be testing out Ouigo, which is France's budget railway line. So it's like the Ryanair of trains, basically. So I'll be testing that out, and I will be detailing it all in my next video, and I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.